What's today? I don't even know what today is. Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. All right. Lunch and news with DotSale, Tuesday, September 16th, 2025. Let's get into it. I appreciate y'all, family. Yeah. We got a crazy show today. This is going to be a carry-on from yesterday. So we had to get out of here earlier yesterday, so I might not be on time, but I'm always going to deliver. And like realistically, I think that's the most important thing. I've always hated working on a schedule. I'm adjusting. And the thing is, like, when it comes to schedules, it's like, it puts you in a box, right? And I like to be on the creative side of things. I understand that the job has to get done, though, right? So I'm one of those people that I might get the work turned in. They say the work's supposed to be done at 10 on the dot. I might get it in at 9:50, 9:59, but I'm going to get the work in. And you talk to anybody that knows me, you know, I'm a person that gets things done. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. It's that simple. Like, there's really nothing else. Now, what I don't want is you telling me how to do the job that you gave to me. If you give me a job, then let me get to the solution or the answer however I see fit. You know, and I might do it in a way you don't see efficient, and that's fine. But I'm getting the job done. You know, some people will say, hey, you know, it's easier to go 2 times 4 to get 8. I might go 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. Is that 4 twos? And to get 8. But regardless of the fact, I got to 8. You know, and another thing is, like, you got to be able to adjust, right? Sometimes you don't have the opportunity to do things in the way that they were presented to you in the first place. And that's where a lot of times where people get it confused, or a lot of people just go based off of memory. They go off what they already know. They can't adjust on the fly. Like, for me, I don't script a monologue. A lot of people, they'll script their monologues, they'll put them together, and they will freeze because if anything goes wrong, if that teleprompter ain't there, if all of a sudden their phone starts to act up and they can't read their notes, then all of a sudden, whole show blown. And that's a lot of the reason why you don't see the amount of live shows that you see as pre-recorded shows, because it's very difficult to do, right? And, you know, I get that. But one of the things that I do and that I've always done is always try to put myself at the height of difficulty to begin with. Many times when I play video games, I'm a gamer. If you've watched any of my more recent videos that have came out, I covered the Nintendo Direct, and, you know, I put up some videos on that as far as just that were taken from a couple live streams ago. And I was just like, well, my whole thing is, when we're playing games, right, we're doing it to try to get achievements. And so I want to get to the highest achievement initially. So I'll just go back real quick before we get into the story, because we have a great show planned ahead. But I just want to say, like, when I first started officiating basketball, and, you know, I was put into the state tournament just this last season after a short 5 seasons of basketball, because the first season was during the COVID and pandemic year. And because of that, a lot of the officials, because the average age of officials, whether you know it or not, is like the age of 55. So I came in to officiating, and the year that I came in, like, all the officials that were older didn't want to go out and get sick. And, you know, that's fair. I'm not going to judge any of their choices, but it opened up a lane for, the newcomers to come in and start to get higher level games. So basically what happened was I don't want to say jumped the line, but I actually went like directly into varsity basketball. Instead of usually you'll go like youth, you'll go, and I had some experience, right? Just from like men's league and stuff, but never like in an official setting, understanding where to stand, communicating with coaches, substitutions, all the different mechanics that you have to know and understand, how to the actual basketball terminology. So I studied, I was hyper focused because I had like a week to prepare. And I went out there and I made some mistakes, absolutely, right? But I got the job done. Yes, I got the job done. Maybe not as efficiently as possible, but it was done. And because of that, I actually ended up leapfrogging myself into expediting my process on becoming, a better official. And it's one of those things where I always think that we don't try to get the ball rolling as soon as possible. And because of that, I think we hold ourselves back. So for me and for y'all, because y'all are family, I always want to give you something that you can think about and have a different perspective on the way that you operate in life. And hopefully, just hopefully, it's helpful. So I don't know. What y'all think about that? Was it cool? A little bit? All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the show. And I was talking about adjustments, and I seen something that was quite weird initially when I woke up, and I was watching the video and I was like, I know this guy. And it was a boxer named Adrien Broner, and he was on What It Is podcast. It's got Cameron, rapper Cameron, and Mace. A lot of people know Mace. A lot of people know Cameron. Very influential in the rap game. And they were on there with Adrien, and he actually did something very strange. So we're going to actually put that as the top story today. And then we're going to continue on with the show from yesterday because we got to get that job completed. But first, y'all know I'm going to feed you. I'm going to feed you. And this one's going to be a treat. So I know y'all are waiting for your food, and we're about to get it right now. And you want to know what we got? Do you want to know what we got? Homemade caprese sandwich. This one's with pesto, but we're actually going to watch a video where it's made a little bit differently. And I wanted to highlight this specific content creator for her work because I liked her work out of all the ones that I've seen. So we're going to get to that in a second. We're going to show a different way that it can be made because you can make all of these dishes as far as with, vegan or plant-based type of ingredients if you want to. And so I'll just show you how it looks. I didn't want to do that. All right, let's go over here. So right here, you got how the sandwich looks, and you can look at some of the things that are involved in this caprese, a very fun word to say, caprese sandwich. You can throw the vegan mozzarella on there. You can have regular mozzarella. That's all fine. But you do got fresh tomato slices, vegan basil pesto, sweet balsamic glaze, and a hint of peppery. Oh. Help me out, family. Arugula? Should I gotta ask. Hold on real quick. I gotta ask. I never said I was perfect. I think I just didn't we have this before? We're gonna get it right real quick. Let me go pronunciation real quick. Because if I don't know something, I'm gonna learn it. All right, we got it right here. Arugula. Hey, don't act like y'all knew how to say that originally. If you didn't hear somebody say that first, just looking at the word, I don't know if you would have got it right. But I have a very, very intelligent audience, so I wouldn't be surprised if y'all did. But you got it right here. And I also did want to show that, you got all these different types of ingredients that go into it. But then also, if you really wanted to go with like putting the chicken on there, because technically it's supposed to have chicken on there, right? You could go with, you can make your chicken vegan style. So actually, you know what? I'll put the link to both of these in the description afterwards so you can check them out. But I really want to get into this content creator's video right here. I thought she did a great job in her presentation and everything. But first off, I do want to shout her out real quick. Can we get it? Okay, well, I'll just tell you the name. So her name is Hope's Homemade Kitchen on YouTube. Hope's Homemade Kitchen on YouTube. All right. As of now, she has 1.83K subscribers. So she's on her way up. She's in monetization. She's starting to make money. And I think she did a really good job. And, you know, I always want to highlight the content creators that are a part of the show. So let's get to it. Let's let her make our lunch so we can get into the show.
Today, we're making a delicious Italian sandwich with all the flavors of a caprese salad and grilled Italian bread. And we're adding...
Did I say that? I said that wrong too. Hold on.
Caprese salad.
Caprese. I said caprese. It's caprese. All right, we got it now. We got it now. See? That's why you always got to be open to learn and adjust. Caprese.
Grilled Italian bread. And we're adding in a little chicken as well. Let's get started, and I'll show you the ingredients for this delicious sandwich. The ingredients for the chicken caprese sandwich are Italian bread, roasted garlic, olive oil, Italian and pepper, lemon zest, fresh mozzarella cheese, a tomato, a chicken breast that's been pounded thin, and fresh basil and fresh flat leaf parsley. Okay, first we're going to make a gremolata spread that we'll be using as a sandwich spread for the chicken caprese sandwich. And that's made out of fresh herbs, Italian flat leaf parsley, fresh basil, lemon zest. We have some roasted garlic we're going to add in there. And then we'll also be adding extra virgin olive oil. So I'm just making one sandwich today. If you're making more than one, you may want to use more herbs. I am chopping up just a few sprigs. That's going to amount to 1 to 2 tablespoons of chopped flat leaf parsley. Okay, we'll just add that to our bowl. And about the same amount of fresh basil. So I'm getting down to my last basil in my garden. I have to decide what I want to do with it, just make more.
She got a garden. All right.
Pesto, or just go crazy making Italian dishes. I'm okay either way. I just love fresh basil, fresh herbs. Okay, that should be enough for one sandwich. And I'll leave a few leaves just to place onto the sandwich as well. Fresh leaves.
Yeah, I'm fresh out the garden.
This is going to add a lot of flavor. We want 1 teaspoon of lemon
She definitely got good chop work. You see how she chopped that basil up? That was smooth.
zest. So I'm just using a microplane zester. If you don't have one of these, they're really handy. I'll link it in the description box below. But this really gets the...
I've never seen that tool before. I think, man, I like that. That's pretty cool.
fine yellow part only that you really want, that's that good lemon flavor. You want to avoid the white part, the pithy part is kind of bitter. Okay, and then I've roasted some garlic, and all I did was take a head of garlic, just chop the top of it off where the cloves are showing, put a little olive oil on there, and I roasted it at 400 degrees for about an hour. So I'm just using...
An hour? Dang. I'm glad we got the quick version. It is because we trying to eat, y'all. An hour's a long time when you're waiting for food. Y'all remember when we were kids and your mom's like, I'm about to start cooking, and it seemed like it takes forever for her to get done?
Using a couple of the cloves that came out of there. They're very
We only gotta
soft,
wait like
easy
less
to
than
come
5
out
minutes.
after you've roasted it. Also, I want to add in about a tablespoon of olive oil. And then I just want to get in there and make sure that garlic, then we'll put the sandwich together. Okay, I have a cast iron skillet, and I'm going to put it on about medium-high heat, about a 6 on my gas stove.
What do y'all rock? Do y'all like electric stoves or gas stoves more? Like, what's the consensus? I know in California, they was really trying to push like only electric stoves. Like, they're like, no more gas stoves. I kind of like the open flame. I think it gives you a lot more control, although, you know, the electric stoves are pushed very heavy.
I'm just going to add in a little bit of olive oil. I'm seasoning my chicken breasts with some kosher salt on both sides and a little bit of Italian seasoning. Now this has been pounded pretty thin.
Pounded.
Just put it in there to cook on both sides.
We're gonna throw some plant-based chicken in there. So, but my thing is this, right? So I'm looking at the way that she cooked it. Is there a reason why she doesn't get it like preheated first? I feel like it should, when it goes in there, it should already like be kind of like hot. Like when it goes in there, it's like, shh. Maybe she'll explain why.
It'll probably take about 8 minutes total, depending on how thin you've pounded your chicken. Okay, we want it to be pretty brown before we flip it. And this is to your taste, however thick you want the slices. Now for my sandwich, that looks like it's gonna be plenty right there. I'm gonna slice some tomatoes that'll fit onto the sandwich and slice them however you like. And then maybe have a few fresh leaves to add on there as well for color and taste.
Those from the garden? I wonder if her tomatoes are from the garden. She didn't say that. I think she bought the tomatoes. But those leaves are from the garden, though.
Okay, and we are going to check on the chicken now. Okay, it's ready to flip. A nice brown color. And we will cook the other side until it...
She got the vent on high. You see where the smoke's going? It's going directly up into that vent. She ain't trying to set the smoke detector off in there.
Reaches an internal temperature of 165 degrees. Okay, we'll test the internal temperature.
This where I'm not a good cook, because I'm not doing all this. I just feel like I can look at it and understand what's going on. Just have a good estimated guess of the temperature. I'm not getting one of those and checking the temperature. I'm not doing it.
And it is well beyond 165 degrees. I'm going to take that off. Nice and brown on the other side.
All right.
Just set it aside to rest. I'm going to put the bread right in there until it toasts up.
I'm a fan of toasted bread. I'm figuring that she didn't clean the pan out before she put the bread on to soak up more of the flavor from the chicken. I don't know. Like, what do y'all think about that? Like, I kind of want a clean pan, you know, butter the bread, you know, vegetable oil, maybe have that on a different pan so you're not blending all the taste together and corrupting the bread, possibly. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
And we'll flip it. Now remember, you can use any kind of bread here. You could also use sourdough bread, ciabatta bread. This is just a baguette that I had that I needed to use up. Okay, that's
Look
nice
like garlic
and toasty
bread
on one side. All we really need is kind of a crispiness there.
So she gonna throw the mozzarella on there early. Them some thick pieces of mozzarella.
Okay. Let's go over and assemble our sandwich.
All right, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Slices there, starting to melt. I could slice this in half or put it on just whole. I think I'm just gonna leave it whole. First, I'm gonna add my tomatoes. I'm gonna add that chicken right on top, almost fits perfectly. And then I'm going to brush that gremolata spread right onto the other side.
All right.
And then top it right off. Ooh, beautiful sandwich. Nice tender chicken. It's really, really good. Juicy.
Let's see if those tomatoes stay in place.
I really like
we
this.
were watching the other guy, and he had like a couple of different types of methods, especially with tomatoes. He was against tomatoes, but he was like, with the tomatoes, you know, you want to make sure that, because they'll slide off the sandwich, so you might want to, like, you know, coat the bread to make the tomatoes stick with like your whatever dressing of choice. And, you know, he has some different ways to keep your sandwich intact, or burger. I guess it was in that situation. But so I think she did a good job. We're going to appreciate her for, you know, hooking us up with lunch. And we are going to enjoy this as we move on into the rest of the show. And we're going to get right into the main story, the breaking story that we just got to. And then again, Hope's Homemade Kitchen. Subscribe to her if you'd like to. I think she has some pretty good content for the most part. And you always want to see us content creators thrive. Let me get off black and white. I think we're done with black and white. Yeah, let's go color. All right. So we got to get to it. I don't know what's going on at this point, but Adrien Broner, for some reason, like, came off completely creepy on the It Is What It Is podcast with Cameron, with Mace, and with their co-host, specifically one of the women on there that he was eye groping and making sexual and inappropriate glances at throughout the broadcast, to the point where Cam got fed up and kicked him off the show, but not before Cam did something very interesting. And we're going to observe all that now, because this is a very interesting one. And when I seen it, I had to adjust and put this into the show as far as the first story. So let's check out what we got. And fair use. I don't know what you're doing over there at the It Is What It Is podcast, Cam, but you know, you don't got to give me like a copyright or anything on this and make me have to remove it after the fact. So if you're watching a live stream, you're getting a treat, because this might not be part of the live stream later if he decides to cut this part out, because it's his content. But fair use, transformative work.
Good in person.
Thank you.
For
I
real.
appreciate that.
Hey,
What you wasted that? I love you. What a guy. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Arabia, is that a real background?
Hey, Stack, could you stop
Yes.
smiling? Can you stop smiling? You.
Arabia is
now, yo, bro, some G, yo, bro, some G shit. We gotta have boyfriend here, yo.
Oh, shit.
I told you that.
My bad.
Nah, like, it's all like, okay, we can move on to football then.
Stack. Oh my God.
Yo, Stat, let's do the football. I guess that answered the question about Floyd. When I see you taking off some
I'm
time,
mesmerized by Stack. I did
just
not
won't
know you
move
looked
on.
that good in person. My bad, bro. You amazing.
all right, hey, we gonna have to actually go, my nigga. We gonna have to actually go. I'm gonna pay you for your time, for being here. I appreciate you.
I wonder if he got full pay.
I love you, my nigga.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, no. I can't. I asked you the first time. I don't have no
We're going to let this one run through. Then
pay you for
we're
your
going to
time.
break it back down. We're going to run through this a second time.
I told you that.
I'm not, though. I'm not.
Nah, I told you niggas boyfriends in here. You know when my
Oh,
brother
shit,
and all
my
that.
bad, bro. My bad.
Nah. But I appreciate your time.
It's me.
Well, if you want to wait for us outside, you could. But I'm not going to sit here and not value your time neither. Good, but I appreciate it, bro. You gotta jump out. Yeah, no problem.
And that was the clip.
Judge my physical and my physical as well as my mental fitness.
Just because I don't care doesn't mean I don't understand.
What do you mean?
Come on, man.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions. I want to have them answered immediately.
What do y'all think about what we just watched? We're gonna go back through. We're gonna break it down piece by piece because this is very interesting. And anybody that doesn't know about Adrien Broner, I mean, a quick breakdown without getting into a lot of the controversial things that he's done. You know, trouble with the law, somewhat disgraced in the boxing world, very high ceiling that he failed to reach. Had run-ins with Floyd Mayweather. At once was his golden boy, and then later discarded by Floyd. And has had a lot of ups and downs in his career, and at this point is pretty much cooked as far as boxing. But you know, now we're seeing him here where he's, you know, trying to get a bag on the It Is What It Is podcast and pretty much just embarrassed itself to the top degree. And let's start the video over and let's break down a couple of the key moments and see what's going on with Broner.
Good in person.
Thank you.
For
I
real.
appreciate that.
Hey,
What you wasted that?
I don't even know what he said there. Do we got captions? Let me see something. Let me see if I can get. Oh, I don't got captions. If anybody knows what he just said there, I'm gonna play it back. I don't even know what he said. It sounded like he called her a slut. That's why I was kind of wondering, like.
Appreciate that.
hey,
What you wasted that?
I don't even know what that like. And bro is clearly not himself, or maybe this is himself, but he's definitely under the influence of something. I mean, that's obvious from the beginning. And I'm pretty sure this show's done in the morning. Most of these talk shows are done in the morning. They're not running at like 12 midnight. So it's like there ain't no reason for you to be inebriated at this point.
What a guy. I'm sorry. My bad, y'all. My bad.
Arabia, is that a real background?
Hey, Stack, could you stop?
You see, and then Mace tried to change the subject. Mace just said anything to just try to get him to move on and cut it out. And he was not budging. He continued to disrespect. And it looks like her boyfriend was on set. So he might have been just fuming off camera, ready to jump out and attack like a lion. So it's like, you know, but he might have thought twice because Adrien Broner is a boxer. So we're still going to give him credit. The guy can fight. Say what you want about him, but he is a very accomplished boxer at the end of the day. So he's probably not someone you want to try to get into a fist fight with unless you know, have some training.
Yes.
Can you stop smiling?
Arabia is.
nah, yo, bro, some G, yo, bro, some G shit. We got to have boyfriend here, yo.
Oh, shit.
I told you that.
My bad.
Nah, like it's all like. Okay, we guess we can move on to football. Then.
And it's crazy too because Cam has to do this live where I believe that Cam is more of a person that's going to pull you to the side. Like he's not the person that's going to try to do something in public and make you look bad and make you look foolish. But it's like the show is live, I'm assuming. And so it's like Cam has no choice but to address Adrien in front of the whole broadcast. And this channel does very well, gets into the millions of views a lot. So it's like, you know, if Cam had to do that on live, you know it's bad. And the energy in there is just all wrong.
Oh my God.
Just that. Let's do the football. I guess that answered the question about Floyd. When I see you taking off some time,
I'm mesmerized by Stack. I did not know you looked that good in person. My bad, bro.
And he pulls up again on her. He can't help himself. You see this from guys that are like drunk out at nightclubs. They're the guys that after the club gets out, they're just hanging around during let out, trying to use their last ditch effort to pick up some women that are on their way out, trying to catch Ubers, waiting outside. And they're over there like whistling at them trying to grope them and say inappropriate comments and tell them to come to their place, and they probably live at home in their mom's basement. And it's like, that's the type of energy he's giving off, which is just completely pathetic. So I don't know what's going on with Broner. I don't know where his team's at to try to help him, but this is crazy.
You're amazing.
All right, hey, we gonna have to ask you to go, my nigga.
And then Cam had it. Cam had
Pay
it.
you for your time, for being here. I appreciate you.
I
I love you, my nigga.
I'm not doing it again.
Yeah, no. I can't. I asked you the first.
And then Cam said, I already asked you once. So he goes out, he pulls out the bag because he got a bag full of money. So I guess he pays his guests in cash. And he probably does this off camera. I don't know if this is his thing where he always pays the guests in cash before they leave. But in this situation, he had to do this live on broadcast. So he like, you got to leave now. We're not stopping the show for you. But I'm going to have to actually pay you because we ain't having a conversation afterwards. You need to exit the building immediately. My security will escort you out. I'm going to pay you right here in cash. And we're going to get it documented that you were paid. But you got to go, bro. And Cam made his mind up.
Son, I don't have no problems with you. I'm gonna pay you for your time, but you can't violate, bro. I told you that.
I'm not, though. I'm not.
Nah, I told you niggas boyfriends in here. You know when my
Oh,
brother
shit,
know
my
that.
bad, bro. My bad.
Nah. But I appreciate your time.
It's me.
Well, if you want to wait for us outside, you could. But I'm not gonna sit here and not value your time neither.
And Cam ain't worried about nothing. Cam said, if you want to holler at me afterwards, like, we can make that happen. But I'm very comfortable right now. And at this point, you messing up the show. Like, we ain't rocking with the way that you moving right now, Adrien. Like, and this is unacceptable. Let me count this cash and get you. I'm gonna pay you to leave, bruh. And the weird thing about it, watch how Adrien takes the money and goes. Which is, I'm convinced that's all he was there for in the first place. And maybe to pick up Shorty. He put another man's girlfriend before the bag. Cam patted him on the back. He gave him his bread. And AB, after he got the money, let me go back to that part. After he got the money, he just left. I don't even think he apologized. He just wanted the money, and that's a small amount of money for a guy like AB. It's a small amount of money for a guy like Cam. And, you know, like, I mean, this is crazy, bro. Is that his team right there? Bro right there? Is that all he's just running with one guy now? He used to have a crazy entourage before. And he takes his effort in disgrace. And just the way he was slurring his words and moving, and Mace is just like, I've seen this before. Mace has been through a lot. You look at Mace over there in the corner, and Mace is like, man, I done been through so much, you know, running with Puffy and Bad Boy. He had a stint with G Unit, although I would say that they were probably a little more on the up and up. A guy like 50 Cent is very business orientated, doesn't really drink, doesn't do drugs, and probably kept a really tight camp. So when he was over there at G Unit, you remember when I ain't trying to cause no controversy. Remember when 50 was like, Mace ain't worth $2 million with $2 million in his pocket. I rock with Mace though, man. But nah, so Mace has been through a lot though, and he just like, bro, like, this is crazy, man. So Mace is disappointed. He can't believe it. And as for AB, I mean, like,
are you just so old and ugly that you can't hear anymore?
What the hell is going on with you, AB? Like, you running around like nobody knows, like, why you're being like this, bruh. You know, so it's very strange. And I think, was this the girl he was talking? Was he talking to this woman, or was it? There was another woman on there. Hold on, what's the other woman?
Arabia, is that a real background?
My bad, y'all.
Help me out. Was it this woman that he was talking to? They kept flipping. I don't know their personalities well, so I'll probably figure it out a little later. But you know, this was just breaking, so I had to hurry up and include it in the show. But yeah, you're talking to at least one of these two, and you know, both good looking women. But bro, you have to like realize that especially in your position, you just can't move like this, AB. You know, you probably, maybe not at this point, but at one point you had children that looked up to you. So I'm a bit disappointed in AB in the way that he is moving at this point. And, you know, you see the fall from grace from some of the people that we actually, hold on. I had one more. Not from AB, but
Nah, yo, bro.
I just want to throw this in just because it popped up on my feed and I was like, you know what? Let's just throw this in there too. And this has nothing to do with anything, but I just couldn't help but throw this in the show. Just look at this. Look at this. And this might honestly be the issue with people that have substance abuse issues from things that they can control, specifically cigarettes, vape pens, alcohol, right? This guy here decided to walk out with a vape tester. He didn't even take like a brand new vape. This is like so you can test the flavors and all that. You see how she got the whole display up there? He was so thirsty that he ran off with a vape tester pen. I mean, you just can't make it up. Like, that's what his addiction did to him, and it's insane. And nonetheless, I wonder if they change the caps on those every time that they let somebody test them. I'm assuming they do, but, I mean, you really smoking off of someone else's vape? Like, even, I wonder, like, people that be smoking, like, because I know y'all like to match when it comes to blunts and all that. People be matching the blunts, and then they'll like pass it around. And well, first off, let me just get to the first part. And the weed smokers might be a little upset at this, but I just find it completely disgusting. So you roll the blunt up, right? You get a wood, or you get like, I mean, back in the day, like it used to be like Swishers and Garcia Vegas. Like I know what's going on, but it's like you would crack it open, you dump out the tobacco, which basically you're smoking tobacco, but you're trying to disguise it as weed because it's got the remnants in there, which is probably part of the addiction process. But then you actually take the blunt, and you always got the guy with the most drooly mouth. You know he ain't brushed his teeth in years. He got like yellow all in between his teeth. He don't floss or nothing like that. The bottom of his lip is just burnt black. Like he always got this black mark, black streak right here. Or sometimes they smoke on the side right here. Let me see. I got something I don't got nothing. Do I got something? Let's use this remote right here. He held on the side of the mouth like this. He smoked like this. You know, the guy that smoked like this. And, you know, so he got the black mark right here. He might switch sides. So he might two black marks from burning his lips from. But he lap up the whole blunt. He just lapping up so we could roll the weed, and he put the weed, sprinkle the weed in there and all that. Then he seals it up with his spit, his disgusting, gooey, nasty, snotty spit. And then after that, just for good measure, he sucks the whole thing down again. And then you know what they got to do after that, right? You know what they got to do after that. They got to grab the blunt, right? They grab the blunt. It's so sloppy wet from all of his spit and germs that they got to hit the lighter and then they gotta heat it up so it gets back to room temperature, so it's dry enough so they can smoke it. So they do this, right? And then after that, you know, they begin to smoke the weed in a circle of like, you know, at least 2 people, but could be more like 5 or 6, depending on where your money's at. You know, if you gotta, and then everybody just passing the blunt around, just spreading disease and sickness, and just the tip of the blunt be all wet and moist. You get it from a guy, you like, you try to have your fingers over the tip of it. So that's when you smoke on your fingers. If you wanted a cleaner person out, all of them, everybody's just disgusting in the situation. But you do got some people that get it and it's all nasty. They might even rip that piece off, and then they go and they smoke it over their fingers. So it's like, what are we doing? But this guy right here, this is completely insane. Let's run it back one more time. Give him the credit that he wants for being caught on camera stealing a vape tester pen. I think I'll take this one. And he walks out. And everybody involved in this situation needs to rethink everything that they got going on. And I had this one show where I talked, I'm not going to get into it. I think owning a tobacco shop is one of the worst businesses you can be in, though. That's the gist of it. All right, let's move on, though. I just had to throw that in. We got more time today. Yesterday, we had to stop the show early. I didn't give y'all nearly as much time as I wanted to, so we're giving a makeup now. So, I had to include that one in there. Oh, yeah. What were we talking about yesterday? We were talking about inflation and TikTokers complaining about it and just a whole entire situation. So this is actually going to be where we're picking up from yesterday. We're carrying on with the whole inflation topic. We'll jump straight into the TikTokers complaining. We did go through some news stories talking about inflation and different things like that. We don't really need to go through that again. I think we all understand it because we're normal citizens for the most part, and we're seeing what's going on as far as the prices. So we're actually going to jump back into this, and we will let some of these people talk, and then we will discuss as we go through. Let's get into the TikTokers talking about inflation. Is this it? Yeah, this is it. All right, let's start with her. We covered her yesterday, but we'll let her get her grievances off again. Let's give her some sound.
$100 barely buys you snacks. Families are not struggling right now because they don't work hard. Families are struggling right now because the math ain't mathing. Mm-hmm. A gallon of milk used to be $1.50. It's now like $5 or $6.
I'm gonna be honest though. I don't remember $1.50. Like when? Like not in the last at least 15, 20 years. Like honestly, I'm just being honest. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong. $1.50 for a gallon of milk. It should cost that much, so I agree with that.
80-something cent back then. $6-something or more today. And don't even get me started on the cost of cereal. You paying $6, $8 for air and lies. What do I tell you guys all the time? This is not about poor choices. This is about a poor system. Wages stayed flat while costs continue to go up because that's the design. So when folks tell you to budget better, how do you budget for price hikes? No wages. If you've had to cut back, I want to hear from you. What did you used to buy that you just don't buy anymore because it's become...
I couldn't move on from a gallon of milk for $1.50, so I just had to look it up. I had to look it up, and based off what they're saying from the first... post that I'm seeing, in 1970 it was $1.20. In the 1980s, it actually went down. It was around $1.17 for a gallon of milk. And then in 1990, the average was about $1.79. And by 1995, it rose to $2.52. It's not went back since. So, yeah. Prices are never going down. I'm just gonna move on with that because prices are never going down. Let's go to this next person, see what we got. Oh yeah, this one was interesting. We were talking about this, I think, when we had to move on.
Surviving. Because if your electric bill looks anything like mine or close to it, I mean, mind you, I have a 2-family home, but it has 3 floors. My tenant does pay her own utilities. I am in charge of my floor and the basement, you can say. And this is what it came out to. It's usually like $400. You know, in the summer, it could probably be like $500 because of the central air. And I do have a pool, but...
Oh, yeah, it's the pool lady. She complaining about prices and she got a pool, which is fine. But if you decide to run a pool, your expenses are going to be high. Pools are not cheap to maintain. And keep them looking nice and not having dead bodies floating through them that you got to get out with the pool whisker thing.
Crazy. I don't know how people are going to survive this. I live in New Jersey. I know that
y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about, the motels that got pools They always broke down, not operable, because even the motels figured it out. They said we should have never put a pool in this motel. This is bleeding us dry to keep this pool running. So it's always like a tarp over it at best, and sometimes they don't even want to pay for the tarp. So it's just an empty pool with a little bit of water at the bottom. 1,000 mosquitoes hanging out in there. You can't even walk past the pool without getting eaten alive by mosquitoes because it's a breeding ground at that point.
But I live in a very, and it's not even the best town. I live in an expensive town. Rents here are astronomical. They're just insane. And being able to pay your rent and then you have to pay a bill that's this high, or even let's say in the 500s, how are people even doing it? How are people surviving? I just don't get how a governor, a mayor, anybody can really allow this to happen to your people who vote for you.
Well, I mean, honestly, if you were involved in the process, then you're the one that put that mayor in office. But more to the point is like, you're talking about rent being high, but you're a landlord. So are you going to explain how much you are charging for rent at your place? Are you below the average? Because I'm pretty sure, and I'm just guessing, and she might get to it in the next, she got 2 more minutes to talk, that you probably are pricing your rent comparable to what everybody else is doing, which is the reason that everybody else is chasing everybody else and the price keeps going up.
I'm not even a political person at all, but this is crazy. I don't know how people are going to make it. They're going to be paying their rent and sitting in the dark, because who can afford this? I am so grateful that right now, because anything can change, we can afford to pay for this. But who's to say next month or the month after, if something happens, we can't afford that. We wouldn't be able to afford that. I don't know how people are doing it. People that have young kids, this is crazy. And they're just doing it. They're just sticking it up.
So you're like paycheck to paycheck, basically. Because if you're saying that like 1 month can make or break you, then that's going to be a huge issue. What if your tenant can't pay your astronomical rent, then you're cooked.
Our asses, and we just have to figure it out. Like, we just literally have to figure it out. We've been figuring it out for many years, and it's just getting worse and worse. Something's got to give. I wouldn't even know where to even begin, because I'm not into politics. I'm just dumb as a doorknob when it comes to any of those things. But like this, just like...
You just got done talking about the mayor and the politicians within your because first off, your county elections, your state elections are going to be more important to you specifically than anything that has to do with the national election. And you see a lot of people get very, very excited for the presidential run. But like, honestly, it's not going to have a big of an impact as you think. Like, the president doesn't have nearly as big of an impact as your councilman, as your mayor, as your governor does within your city. It's not even close.
Open my eyes. My husband went yesterday to pay the bill, and it was $1,900. And he's like, where? They wouldn't give him any information because his name is not on the bill. So I looked at it this morning, and look at me. I have like hives because I just can't believe it. And I feel for people that have to pay something like this and can't really afford it, because you're not even making that much money either. Like, minimum wage is insane. I just can't. I don't know how people are going to survive this. It stresses me out. Like, it really stresses me out. At this point, all I could do is hope and pray. Really, because I really wouldn't know what to do, how to do it. Like, I don't even know what is this? Delivery? What the hell is anybody delivering? Nobody ever came to my door to deliver shit. And then you get like a little bit of a break on the first.
And this is where just like the ignorance begins to come in, and this isn't really a topic that she really needs to speak on. I want to hear from her husband and see what's really going on, because I think she might be implicit in the types of decisions that are going on within the household for the electricity bill to be this high. But I will tell you that the delivery charges are basically like, it it has to do with like the power lines, the infrastructure, the transformer boxes and things like that. All the things that they have to use to maintain your electricity. It's kind of like the roads like that you need to drive. So you pay taxes into the city so they can make sure we have good roads. Now, I'm not saying that's the case because, you know, I'm dodging potholes like, you know, I'm trying to escape bullets like somebody shooting an AK at me when I'm on the road. Like if I didn't dodge all the potholes that were on the roads within the city, then I absolutely would need to buy a new control arm at least once a month. So I'm not saying that, but that is what those charges are. And you didn't even do the slightest bit of research before you came on to understand that that's what it is. Now, do I think that's a bit egregious? Probably, because most of those things have probably already been in place for quite a long time, but that's what they mean.
First 600
infrastructure,
kilowatts, and then it goes up after that. Like what? No, this is insane. And you could see I didn't even really use that much from June to July. No.
Yeah, there's a lot more going on. And, you know, she talks about like things like AC and stuff like that. I mean, sometimes you can just open up a window and put a fan in there and get a breeze. I think we're just at the point where we're so, we've gotten to a point where we just enjoy these luxuries, right? That a lot of times are unnecessary. And at that point, like, you become dependent on them, and then now they got you by the short and curly, some people would say, because it's like they know that you can't live without these extras that they're putting on that are unnecessary, and it drives your bill to the moon, but you have to pay for convenience. So that's just kind of, you know, what it is. And, you know, like, honestly, we were able to survive as people long before we had air conditioning to be able to use, but you know, it is what it is. Let's move on. We're not going to stop there. We're going to talk to somebody that's kind of just... This woman's just asking questions. She's just trying to figure out what's going on. So let's see if we can answer some of her questions.
Or is everything a facade? I just can't help but wonder to notice that everywhere I go, packed to the brim. Restaurants are packed. Cafes with $12 lattes, huge lines. Erewhon with $20-something smoothies, huge lines. Grocery stores packed. The other day, I called a bunch of nail salons just to get a basic-ass pedicure. All packed, all busy. They had no availability to squeeze in a 30-minute basic pedicure.
Stop. Oh my god, I fucking hate myself right now. Oh my gosh. Shut up.
Hey, if it's one thing a woman's gonna do, she's gonna make sure she keep her appearance up. Most women are gonna make sure that they get into that nail salon and they spend $80 on some nails that cost like, I mean, literally, when I say this, literally like 10 cents to produce a whole pack of nails. They're nothing at all. Like, you're paying like 10,000% on interest, or not interest, on labor. You're paying like 10,000% on the actual nails that you're purchasing cost nothing at all. And then you're paying like $80 just for somebody to put them on your finger. And that is what you're spending your money on. Now, shout out to all the women that, you know, do it at home, or, you know, maybe they swap with friends. I think that'd be the best thing to do. Like, you got your girlfriends. Like, if it was me, if I had to get my nails done, I have some of the homies. Like, I'll be like, look, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do your nails. You're gonna do my nails, and we're gonna go and buy these nails wholesale. We're gonna get about 15,000 set, and this is gonna take care of us for the rest of our lives. This is gonna cost us $100 total. We're gonna get all the nails that we want, and we're gonna just put them on ourselves. It's gonna take us no more than 15 minutes. You put my nails on, I put your nails on. We can learn it real quick on YouTube. ChatGTP can tell us how to apply nails, and we're gonna save over the course of our lifetime probably about $50,000. 50 grand over the course of our lifetime.
thinking, I thought we were near a recession. I thought the economy is bad. I thought people were struggling with groceries and bills. Yet everywhere I go, restaurants, bars, cafes, packed to the brim. Malls, packed. Target, go to Walmart, everyone's cart is packed. Everybody's cart is packed. Trader Joe's, Costco, everybody is packed. Everybody is buying things, a multitude of things. And everything is more expensive due to the inflation, but where are people getting this money from then? I thought we were struggling.
I mean, some people have it. A small percentage of people have it, and that's mostly what you're seeing. Because you got to think about it, like, there's a lot of people in America, a lot of adults, and even when you just break down a fraction of that, you might go, top 10%. I mean, out of 100 million people, right? And I'm not saying that's what the population is. I think it's close to like 350 or something, but let's just say 100 million people. That still leaves, 10 million people that are going to be okay. So you're going to see that. But it's the issue is the people that can't afford it that are trying to keep up with the 10%. So then you have a lot of these people out that are filling out the rest of the crowd, and they're the ones that are actually like not able to afford it. So they're using Klarna, Afterpay, they're taking out payday loans to get things that they don't necessarily need to try to keep up. And a lot of the issue is that, right, is that people don't necessarily have the money on average. They actually just borrow the money, and then they don't necessarily look at the totality of money that they owe. They just look at the payments that they have. They'll say, oh, my payment is only $20 a month, but you owe $20,000 at an 8% interest rate. So if you're only paying $20 a month, I mean, I'm just doing loose math, but you're going to end up paying like $90,000 by paying $20 for the rest of your life over time, rather than just paying the $20,000 or actually not spending it in the first place. And it's kind of crazy, right? And that's what we see a lot. And it's not just food, right? Because I'm giving a pass to food. I'm not even going to argue food, although we're seeing people buy foods that they don't necessarily need, but I'll just give that a pass. I'll take food all the way off the table, even though you're buying Takis and Oreo cookies and all kind of random packages with cartoon characters on the box. Cool, whatever. Let's move on from that. But when it comes down to other stuff like putting a TV on Klarna, and TVs are super cheap. You can get a whole TV. I mean, if you just need to keep up with what's going on, like $119. Now, I ain't gonna lie, you gotta go to Walmart and get, OWN? You gotta get that TV. But look, it works. It's cool. And honestly, if you think about it, if you had that TV 6 years ago, that would be like the top TV on the market. I mean, now if you compare it to some of the nicer models, then yeah, it's pretty bad. But like just 7 years ago, that would have been like one of the best TVs ever created. So, you got to think about it from different perspectives. Let's move on. Hopefully we helped her out a little bit, but she doesn't look like she's hurting. If you look at the seats that she's sitting on, I mean, most cars don't come with seats that color. I don't know exactly what she's driving, but it's definitely the premium trim level for sure at minimum. Let's see what we got here. She's at the grocery store.
I haven't joined in on complaining about anything in the economy, but when I saw this, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. You mean to tell me Tostino's pizzas are now $3.49 a piece? And if you don't believe that, let me show you. I swear when I was a kid,
I gotta get her.
10 for $10, $1 each. $3.49, $3.49, $3.49, $3.49. What in the high holy of any and all hell has this world come to? $3.49 for one Tostino's pizza. My husband's only getting 2. That's it. I ain't fucking paying no more.
Oh, wow. I got it. Family, I got to get her. I don't have a choice but to get her. And the reason why is because this is completely disgusting. And this is what we're talking about.
Stop.
I'm not stopping. You're about to get this work. So, first off, you can't hook your husband up. Now, I want y'all to just look at this video real quick, and I want you to tell me if you see anything that
These were 10 for $10.
Hold on,
and if you don't believe that,
let me get it real quick. Let me pull it
Tostino's
up.
pizza to tell me.
All right, let's stop it right here. Now we have everything. We have everything included in this shot. We got the Tostino's pizza rolls. We got her and her face, right? Eyebrows did all the way up. makeup caked on, possible lip injections. But what do we see that's quite odd? Well, what does she have around her neck? Assuming that's a real bag, I'm just guessing that bag is going to cost you somewhere in the range of $1,800 to $2,800. It's not the big joint, but it's also not the small joint. So that's a Louis Vuitton bag, right? Is that Louis Vuitton? I don't really keep up with designer like that. It's not really my thing overall. Although I do like designer belts. I think they're very good quality. If I wore any designer, it would probably be a belt. But regardless of the fact, and those are expensive at like $350, $375. I know because I do have a couple of them. All right. My thing is this, though. Your husband more than likely bought you that bag. And even if he didn't, it says that you can buy it. So at what point can your husband not get his Totino's pizza that he really enjoys because they cost $4, but you can spend a whole bunch of money on a bag that necessarily does nothing for you? It doesn't feed you. It doesn't help you at all. So it's completely disrespectful to her husband that more than likely bought her that bag, but she can't return the favor and just get him the food that he wants. I'm pretty sure that he works if she got that bag and he had anything to do with it. Now, possibly she could pay for everything. And at that point, I guess he has to take what he can get. I'm going to say that that's probably about 99% not the case. But we always got to leave that sliver that is the case. And for me, the husband needs to feel quite embarrassed seeing this video. I actually want to look at some of the comments, which we don't always do, but I'm just curious to see what people have to say about this. And if anybody else noticed what we noticed here, family, because, usually the way that we look at things is a bit different than the normies. So let's just see if anybody points that out. Points out or arguing about a $4 little pizza that her husband really enjoys, that he really would like to have, but not pointing out the fact that she herself has an expensive bag around her shoulder. $197 at our Walmart. Okay, so you can pay almost $9 for a gallon of Walmart brand orange juice. That's not what we're looking for. A lot of complaining. Are we going to see anything about the bag? A lot of complaining, no solution, complaining. All right, I'm going to try to give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to scroll my fingers 5 more times. I'm going to do long scrolls. It's 1. It's 2. Tell me if I missed it. It's 3. Y'all got 2 more chances. It's 4. And there's a
Bye. Have a great time.
We out of here, team. We out of here, fam. And the reason why is because it's like, you can't. I mean, we went through at least I don't even know how many comments we went through. We see nobody pointing out the fact that you're complaining about the prices of food while you're wearing luxury bags. And for me personally, this is me personally, and I always try to give a solution or some type of help with everything that we communicate about, because I'm not a complainer at all, which is the reason why I think complaining about inflation is completely insane, because oftentimes whatever's going on with inflation has less to do with your own personal choices, almost always, because inflation has been happening since the beginning of time. Everything's went up. It was like a penny to buy candy in 1940. And as I've grown up, I've seen everything increase in price. I'm absolutely used to it. And I don't expect anything less to happen. To be honest, the prices are never going back down. So y'all can get that out of your head if you think that's going to be the case. You're not going back to 10 for 10 for Totino's pizza rolls. But you know what will keep going up in price? Designer bags. And you are still going to spend on those, are you not? You're going to figure out a way. And Americans are always going to figure out a way to get what they want. Talking about America specifically, but it's probably around the whole world as well. So I feel bad for her husband, and you know, it's just completely insane that you know, she's complaining about a $4 pizza wearing a $1,800 bag. That's unnecessary at the low end. All right, let's continue to go on though, because I think we got a few more we got to get to. Where we at on time? We at the hour mark? We might go to 2 hours today. We might go to. Are y'all enjoying lunch? How was the chicken caprese sandwich? Y'all remember we had the let me go. We had the sandwich earlier. We had the caprese sandwich earlier. Hold on, I'm gonna show it to y'all. If you came in late, you ain't see what you ain't. But there's food. You can go over. We got it right over there on the table. Go over and get a sandwich. We got plenty of sandwiches over there for y'all. So if you want a sandwich, go over there, get a sandwich, come back over, and we're gonna finish up this show. But it's like, you know, tell me how y'all feeling about the food. I thought it was extremely good. I thought that the creator that made those sandwiches was incredible within her making them. Hope's Homemade Kitchen is her name. 1.83K subscribers. Let's get her up to 2,000 if we can. Let's help her get to 2,000. All right. I want to keep going though, because we want to continue to see what's going on with people complaining about inflation. Do we got a new video? Is this this is the same one. All right, let's go to, which one I just clicked? I think I'm gonna click the same one again. Let's see. This one, yeah, this is okay. So I need to go down one. All right, we got, let's go. We'll go through two more. I got a whole bunch of them, but we're just gonna go through two more. Let's see what she got to say.
For some food, and we already know the cost of groceries is extremely high. So I go to get some grits. Now, I'm gonna show you the price of the grits. I'm gonna show you how empty that box is with the grits. So the grits is $4.09. That's the sale. I want y'all to hear this. Like when I tell you, you see how I'm squeezing this? Half the goddamn box is empty. Yo, get me out of this. Get me out of here, man. Why is grits?
See, one of the things is like, this has been happening since the beginning of time. They call it shrinkflation, or it might be the opposite of that. We didn't notice because we were kids. So when we become adults, we get shocked because our parents don't prepare us for this. But like, honestly, like it's been like this forever. Like it's always just been air in the bag. It's always been air in the bag. When was the last time you bought a DVD? This happens in all packaging, by the way. And I'll go back from DVDs. The only thing that didn't do this actually was VHS tapes. VHS tapes took up the whole box. Like if you got or a record, they basically, so you could actually look at it from a historic standpoint. I would say going into like 2000 is when it changed. Because you got records, they took up the whole box. And then you have VHS tapes. I don't know about 8 tracks. That was before my time. But VHS tapes took up the whole box. And then what was the other one? The compact disc, the CD. The CD took up the whole package for the most part. Then after that, something changed. Then we got DVDs. And when DVDs came into play, it was like the box was like at least 1/3 the size that it took the disc. So then you kind of see it continuing. But as far as food, it's always been that way. And, you know, so that's nothing. What you look at is the actual weight that is in there. So you don't look at it from a standpoint of, oh, well, you know, it's only filled up halfway. You just look at the weight. I never looked at boxes and been like, it's halfway full. Like, who cares? Like, I'm just looking at whatever the fluid ounces are or whatever the weight of what I'm getting is. And then I'm comparing that to other brands and different things. And I'm just going off weight and price. I'm not going to complain that it's halfway full because it really doesn't matter. And y'all don't complain when you get like a big old box from Amazon or from Target and you just bought a bottle of shampoo and it comes in a box this big. I got to go to the full. I can't even do it in the little screen. The box be this big and they send you like one bottle of, they send you some Q-tips. And it's packed and it got the peanuts in there and you digging around like you looking for a prize and you pull out your one bottle of shampoo and your bottle of clean. The box be this big. Y'all don't complain about that. All right, let's keep going. We just having fun, team. We just having fun. Now, we don't want to see Broner again. We moved on from that.
$4, and why is the box that is $4 half empty and is air? When is the revolution, and where do I sign up? Because it's getting out of control. And again, this is why people take stuff, because
that hair on fleek though. Woo! That hair looking good. You might not be able to eat, but your hair looking good. Might do you some justice. And you got the shirt with the money on it. Why is everybody that's complaining got something to do with like trying to flex money and all that, but you complaining about prices and everything? The last girl, she got a whole Louis Vuitton bag, but she can't buy her husband a $3 pizza. And then this woman complaining about grits in a box, and she got $100 bills waved across her shirt. And what does the shirt say? The greed? I can't read backwards. Somebody help me out. What's the top word say? I ain't even gonna try to. But she got the $100 bills on the shirt. You balling, girl. You balling. You don't need it. You got it. Congratulations. I don't understand it. I don't understand
What
it.
do you mean?
All right, let's see. We got a couple more. Do we got one more? I think we got one more. Let's see what we got. I don't know what this one is.
Becomes so goddamn expensive, and it's also impossible to have fun. We're in the process of buying a house, okay? We offered a bid that is very substantial, especially for first-time buyers. The house has been on the market for over a year now, so we went a little bit under the asking price, thinking, why not? Why could it hurt? It's been on the market for over a year. Tell me why. The listing agent comes back to us and says that there are now 6 bidders involved. Not only do we have a bidding war going on for a house that is absurdly expensive, but we also are planning to go on a family trip to Orlando this weekend, hopefully. I don't know. We were thinking of going to Universal Studios. Let's go. It is almost $200 to get into Universal Studios. And on top of that, it is spring break, and the lines are ridiculously long everywhere you go. It's just madness. So I don't even know if going to Orlando is even an option anymore. That's fun sucker number 1. Fun sucker number 2 is a cocktail bar that me and my husband like to go to. It is great. They have great cocktails, but it's also impossible to find a ticket. The second that it goes on Resi, they're sold out. Like, I don't know who the hell buys these tickets, but they are literally sold out the second they go online. We were lucky enough to find a ticket, and guess what? We can't even go because our plans changed. The really cute part about everything is that they don't even accept cancellations. I don't know. Sorry for this rant, but this is just like, this is the new America. Like, it's unattainable, unaffordable, and unfun. No, but riddle me this. When did life
Should I get her or should I let her breathe? Should we get this one or does it speak for itself? You're going to Disney. You're going to see the mouse. You're trying to buy a house. You need that new blouse. Your husband's your spouse. You know, I actually start to wonder if there's some type of, I don't know if psychosis is the word. Y'all can help me out if I'm using the wrong word, but I would just say like some type of, I'm just throwing words out there, cognitive dissonance. I'm always trying to learn. I think I know what that means. But just a separation with understanding priorities, right? Like, and my thing is this, right? I think it's all fine that you want to go to Disney World. I do. I think everything's okay when you're not complaining. When you're not complaining about stuff, I mean, do whatever you want to do, but you're complaining about one thing that literally is hindering the other. And I'll say this, like, shout out to the realtor. He knew that he had y'all on the hook. The realtor said, you know what? These people right here can't get over themselves. When they want something or do whatever, they're not going to walk away. So I'm going to tell them that all of a sudden, even though this house has been on the market for a whole year on the market is a long time for anything you're trying to sell. And all of a sudden you put a bid in and there's 9 other bids. Now there's 9 other bids. Nah, there ain't 9 other bids. There's 1 bid, your bid, and you're bidding against yourself. So now you offered her or him, the realtor, the top side of what you can spend, because whenever somebody has a house budget and you get approved for $450, you always trying to buy something exactly at $450. You might be like, let me save a little money and go $445, and then you always try to then you start looking at everything that's a little bit more than that. So you're gonna end up at the end of it spending like $500, $550, right? And a lot of the time, the people that make the decisions financially are not the most impacted by what is going to come out of the consequences of your decision. So this is quite strange, and this is a lot of what we're seeing from people. And shout out to the realtor by making sure that he is going to make the most money possible on his sale after having it on the market for a year and probably losing money. He's going to make it all back with this woman and whoever else is involved with the home purchase, because they're probably going to pay like an extra $25,000, $30,000 for this house because they can't walk away. They can't. She's not walking away under any circumstance. She will not be defeated, even at her own detriment. And you can see it in her eyes. Let me zoom in real quick. Look at these eyes. This is somebody that's not going to be defeated under every circumstance. You can see it. So shout out to her. I hope everything works out. We're going to move on. Last one. Oh, I think this one. Let's see what we got. I don't even know what I got here.
$500 a month plus for rent. Is that normal? Do you think it's normal to pay $300, $400, $500 on a car note? $100 on your phone bill? $150 on electricity? Like, that's not normal, yo. Do you know what you could do with that type of money in different places? The reason these prices are so high is because they know they can take advantage of us. It's that simple. And they know we're going to keep paying. I feel like we don't have the discipline to force these people's hand. Like, these prices are out of control. Like, it shouldn't be this expensive for literally basic necessities. Just because we are the richest country in the world and have the highest GDP doesn't mean we should be taken advantage of in school.
I think we're also in the most debt in the world. I know our debt is astronomical. I know that we're not even covering the interest payment at this point as far as the debt within America. And I think most of that is owed to China. But fair enough. If they ever, like, if they did in stocks, there's something, if you want to borrow money from your brokerage, you'll take margins, and then when you start to dip below a certain number, they'll do a margin call, and they'll basically just take everything from you. They can sell your stocks to cover their losses immediately. If there was ever something like a margin call on the debt we owe, we would no longer be the richest country in the world. We would be the poorest country in the world in a split second.
Squeezed for like every dime we got. That makes no sense to me. Things should cost what they cost. And a lot of that is, the market, and, we determine the market. So I believe we got to do better, man. It's only going to get worse, the more we put up with and accept, them hiking up these prices, because these companies just want to make money. Like, that's all they in it for, So they be like, all right, something costs $50 and they, take it up to 60 and we still buying. They're like, all right, bet. Let's take it up to 70. They'll take it up until we do something about it. And that's their strategy. Like, don't fall for it, man. Just pay them money for what things are really worth. And if you can't find a reasonable price, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If most people did that, the economy would be a ton better. Oh, make it make sense. How come rent is...
All right. I actually have to give him a I got to give it to him. And the reason why is because he said something that made sense. And this is actually along the lines of what I was going to get to. And he basically opened it up. He had the opening for me to come on and be the closing act as far as explaining what he's trying to say and basically just expound on it. But it was going to be my original point, is that the consumer is the one that controls the prices, not the seller. That's always going to be the case. I want to break this down from a perspective that everybody can understand it, all the way from your children to the 70-year-old that still hasn't understood what it is that's going on as far as why prices fluctuate up and down, because it's something that is called supply and demand. Now, you've probably heard that before, but I'm going to break it down from a different perspective. You've heard things like variable pricing, right? And I'm going to go to the main screen for this because we're going to go into our next story after this. There's something that's called variable pricing, and you're seeing it at different points with even a soccer. I think there's a soccer event coming up in America where they have something called variable pricing, and they're going to raise and lower the prices based off of what it is that the people are willing to pay and the demand that is for said event. So one of the soccer tournaments, I think like a year ago, the prices started out astronomically high, and the people chose not to buy it, right? And soccer has a different community that's not always just American. So there's different thoughts on spending there, which might say a lot to why the prices plummeted to the point where people were getting tickets for like $10, damn near free, to go to this event because they weren't selling. So they had no choice but to lower the prices and try to recover some of the money that they've already invested and at least break even. Now, you see it in video games. I cover video game news or video gaming news, I guess you would call it, at different points. Got a couple of videos up on the page that are talking about this or just talking about games in general. And they have variable pricing in games. Nintendo introduced this, and then all the others followed suit because it's a monkey see, monkey do with a lot of these big corporations. And they decided to charge the most for a video game ever when they put out Mario Kart World at an astronomical price of $80, which is basically unheard of in the gaming industry until that game got released. And the reason why is because they knew that people would pay that amount of money. I'll break it down into a level where we can just understand it as normal people. Anybody that's ever used Craigslist but will be more modern and will use Marketplace, it's one of the biggest selling platforms as far as like hand-to-hand selling or peer-to-peer. It could be P2P, which means peer-to-peer selling, kind of like an eBay. So on Marketplace, you might notice people that are selling things, and some crazy person might have a couch, right? They might have a leather couch on there, and they might say, my couch is worth $900, and they might believe that in their head. For whatever reason, they think their couch is worth $900. So what do? They take a few pictures, lazily put up a description that doesn't even explain what the couch is, where it was made from, how long they've had it, the use, and all that other things. They don't give good pictures or anything like that. Lazy ad, they put it up for $900, and they get nobody even looking at their couch, nobody responding to them. And they'll leave it up for a long time, like that realtor did with the house. Then, over time, they understand that it's not selling, so what do they have to do? At that point, they have to say, you know what? I'm going to swallow my pride, and I'm going to begin to lower the price. And they're going to lower the price from $900 to $800 to $700 to $500 to $400 to $300 to $200 to $100, and then they're going to post it for $75. And at that point, and only at that point, will people start to begin to show interest in that couch. Now, that is almost a 900% loss that she thought that her couch was worth. But to be honest, she overinflated her price in her mind based off what the public would pay. So the public is the one that actually decides what the market is supposed to be. Because whatever you have, it doesn't matter at all. It's only what somebody will pay for it. That's the value of it. The value of whatever you have is only what somebody will pay for it, unless you want to look at it from a sentimental value, but that doesn't even matter. If somebody's only willing to pay you $5 and then you ask another person, he says, I'll pay $6, the other person says he'll pay $5, your item is worth $5. It's just that simple. But you should try to get 6 while you got that opportunity there. I really believe that people have such a separation with reality that at this point they have no idea what's even going on around them. So my thing is this. What this guy said, him right here, what he said is absolutely right. If you stop buying this slop that they're putting out, they'll lower the price. They will absolutely lower the price. I guess I could look at it from, there was a time where, and I guess I got to break it down. Let's see. I broke it down video game. So let's go into something a little more controversial, a little more adult themed. Let's talk about prostitution and escorting. All right. So one of the things that a lot of like escorts or whatever you want to call them, they started to have an issue with was there was high top escorts and then there was like low tier ones. The low tier ones would take anything, $50 holla, you know, $100 suck and muck, you know what I'm trying to say? And so they ended up lowering the price because all of the Johns or the tricks would say, well, you know, I actually could just get it here for $100. So why would I pay you $1,000? And they started to mess the game up. Now, if all of them said that they will not do anything less than $1,000, then the price would go up. But in that industry, you have people that are horny, that can't think logically. They can't wait. So what they're going to do is they're going to give in and they'll end up paying $1,000. That's basically what's happening with us as, and this is all of us, it's me included because I'm included with the buyers and I get stuck in this where it's like, I see these crazy prices going on and I refuse to pay it, but I got 90% of the other people that are willing to pay that price. So it basically puts me in two positions. Either I could pay that price or I could wait for somebody to pay that astronomical price. And what I do is I wait for them to end up going broke and needing to sell it. And then I buy it from them at the price it should cost. So somebody buys a home that they can't afford and then it gets foreclosed on. I'll come into an auction and I'll buy it at what it should cost. But you have to let the idiots and the people that can't control themselves, that can't stand for something, be the ones that are going to be left holding the bag. And you see it in stocks where people get rug pulled and you see it and it's never going to stop and it's always going to happen. And that's the end of this. It's completely insane. And the more I think about it, the more it just is frustrating. And all I can say is that I never want, you know, my kids and the youth and the people that are willing to listen to these concepts to end up falling within these type of traps because it's terrible. And I think that we can do better as a human society with these things if we start to come together and, you know, basically unionize against these overinflated prices. Because are the prices overinflated? Yes, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about personal choices and us working together as a family or as a team at minimum to make the prices go down. But until we start making more decisions that are better, then we are going to deal with this forever in perpetuity. All right, we're going to move on. After that rant, I'm just trying to help. It might come off a little harsh sometimes, but I'm just trying to help. Oh, and we do have a warm closer after this. We're going to go into this other story. We're not going to spend a lot of time on this. It's a very strange story, so I don't really know what's going on. Like, the person involved is a little strange in their own right. You know, nothing against them or anything like that, but just the whole situation and setup is quite weird. So, you know, for me, I think we'll go through it, and let's actually start with the person at hand that is going through this. Also on the thumbnail right below me with the old school computer border around her picture. And let's look a little bit at what she has going on TikTok. I don't know. She might, I don't know. You think she'll copyright me? She might. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I'll just take the whole section out, honestly. This is not something I really need to redo. That's why you always got to catch the live streams, because if you don't, then you might miss out on some really good content. Because sometimes the people be like striking your video and copywriting it, and I just remove it. I don't even fight with them. Let's look at a couple of her videos. I probably got to turn some of the sound off, though, because I do think the music is going to be a conflict. I don't even know what the hell's going on here. I'm just going to flick through a couple of these and just see what's going on. Basically, she's a content creator. She does pretty well. Actually, she's live right now. Let's just go straight to her live. She's live right now. While we're doing this show, she's live. So we're going to adjust and we're going to go straight into her live. Let's see what's going on right now in real time with this. Oh, it just ended. It just said she was live. She ain't live no more. All right. I guess we can't do that. We was going to absolutely
And
get straight
this
to
is
it.
the landlord's notice to dismiss me as a defendant in the case as of yesterday. Now, you really should ask yourself, if you're not an intellectually dishonest person,
this was
why would
talking
they
about
want
right
me
here.
dismissed if I did them so dirty? They were the ones who went to such great lengths to make this public, going so far as to dox my partner's full legal name, taunting with how does it feel to be evicted before the first court hearing where the judge is supposed to rule on things like that. That's how I know it was them, which was a narrative of eviction they made sure was public, as if they went through the correct legal proceedings to evict in the first place. They didn't and couldn't, because I was out when we agreed I would be. Do you see where it says, feel free to take the month to prepare to move? My partner and I willfully surrendered possession as acknowledged by Judge Simpson.
Possession's been surrendered to the plaintiff.
Was it wrong to withhold rent? I j'ignore. It felt like the only option to me.
We were subjected to a wrongful lockout, so we are due 3 times damages of the $150 for a locksmith as outlined in Michigan's anti-lockout statute, totaling $450, which I also have evidence of.
Okay.
They were pocketing the rent that their roommates paid.
See the way they cut it? This is court nerd spin on the narrative so they could call me a subletting squatter.
I have evidence of.
Let's play the full footage.
Okay. All right,
Your
look,
Honor.
folks.
Your Honor, I'm
Yes.
taking my house because they failed to pay rent. I have 6 children. These people make $350,000 a year is what they claimed on the rental application. I'm going to lose health insurance tomorrow, and my house is going into a foreclosure period as of tomorrow is 90 days late. They have money. They had subletters or whoever living with them, and I don't know if they were running a homeless shelter, if they were pocketing the rent that their roommates paid.
See how the proof is like her tears because there's none of it and there's only assumptions?
So here's the thing. Possession has been granted. There are 2 parts to the case.
And that's because they wanted $21,000 goddamn dollars for 4 months' rent when we only owed 2. So for December and January, we withheld rent because rent was $7,000. After they applied predatory and what we later learned to be illegal late fees, totaling an extra $2,000 on top of the $5,000 which was due every month. And we were late almost every month we stayed there because these landlords were unwilling to work with us and our pay schedules.
Okay, so that's a little bit of her story, what's going on. We're going to go to the actual court proceedings, and we'll get it just from everybody's perspective.
Courthouse case, the people.
Let's watch a little bit of this. We got some
Jared
time.
Lepick versus Andrew Elliott.
Hello, Your Honor. I'm Jordan Lepick. I'm also on this case. Jared Lepick
Yes.
unfortunately was diagnosed with influenza A this morning, so he had his Zoom going and can mic in if need be, but he's got very little of a voice at this point.
I don't know what she just said.
All right. And yes, I do see him signed in. All right.
But we will look at what we got. So it says that the tenant owes over $15,000 to the landlord, who appears to be struggling to make ends meet themselves. So the landlord is broke. The tenant owes her $15,000. And for some reason, she's sitting in front of a storage unit right now, but she seems to be quite successful on TikTok, or at least has the audience to show that she is. What was her followers? Let me look real quick. How many followers does she have? Let's just see how many followers does she have. Nearly 600,000 followers, 33 million likes. And yeah, so that's pretty successful on social media.
Andrew Elliott or Travissia Burrell?
Travissia Borelli.
Okay, sorry. All right. Okay, what are we doing on this case?
Last week, sir, you had asked if they be out of the house before the hearing today. And as of right now, they're still moving stuff out of the property. There are still people on property, including a couple of unauthorized additional roommates that weren't included in the lease. And we have yet to get in contact with Mr. Elliott. He is the named person on our lease. So we would just like to see what his status is. We haven't heard from him since the 7th. And the last thing we received from him in writing was an email admitting to the debt owed and the wrongdoing on his part, stating that he can provide the court of a copy with this email. In his own words, he states, "We will obviously not refute what you are owed. We have no intention to. We would honor the court decision of the debt, which would additionally include legal fees. Given our contract is under the laws of Michigan, there is very little that can be garnished as the bulk of my earnings are earned as independent contractor." In this email, he proposed a payment plan that we were uncomfortable with agreeing to because he offered us specific payment arrangements over the last.
Can I?
Absolutely.
And what she was talking about, the independent contractor thing, is when you have a W-2 job, which a lot of people have, although independent contractors are starting to be more prevalent. These are things like that you can do to be like DoorDash, or for instance, what she's doing, being a TikToker, is that it's harder to determine how much money someone makes or doesn't make, when they're doing 1099 work, and it makes it a lot harder to recover your money because it can't be garnished as easily, if at all, by the government.
All right. How much are you claiming is owed?
So as of right now, he owes $15,000 plus court costs of $234.43. If I may, could I give you like 90 seconds of backstory, sir?
Not really.
Okay.
Your Honor,
I don't know that I'm necessarily going to need it.
Okay.
Ma'am, are you moving out?
Yes, we've returned the key. I have a couple of friends currently helping me move out the remaining things. I'm actually at the U-Haul Center right now, and they are getting the rest of the items out presently under the supervision of the land manager.
Okay.
She live streaming this.
And ma'am, are you disputing the amount they're claiming is owed?
I am.
You are?
Yes, I am. We owe.
How much do you think you owe?
So we owe December and January. That's $10,000. We paid a $1,000 late fee in November and a $2,000 late fee in September and October. We believe that these should be subtracted from the total owed due to illegality of those fees.
Oh my God. I'm gonna let it go. It's just like, I don't understand the logic of people. You paid late, so therefore you have to pay extra because you were not on time. There's no difference between when you borrow money, you need to pay extra when you pay it back because of interest. What on earth would make you dispute that you're owed money back for a late fee? This is crazy. I feel bad for the landlord now, but we'll let the story start to balance out.
Also, we were
how much is monthly rent?
Your Honor, monthly rent is $5,000 a month. This is a 4,000 square foot house that we were under contract for them to purchase. And we have done a series of short-term leases as they were waiting on the state.
Okay, so here's the thing. Is she right about, she just listed off, I think, $4,000 of late fees that they paid?
No, sir, that is incorrect. Those were from the previous lease. See, at first we did a 60-day lease, and then we extended that once their house was not sold. So we have 2 prior leases to this short-term lease, and we only enforce late fees on one of the months under those leases. And I can submit documentation of all this, sir.
So can I.
All right.
I do have claims that ACHs were sent that were never received to my account, sir, as well as proof of funds that I received in December and no payment was made out of that. The last communication I had about a payment arrangement was on December 13th, and I was informed by Mr. Elliott that day that his wife had sent an ACH. However,
okay, look, folks. Oh, ma'am.
Yes.
Here's what's going to happen. What date are you going to be out of the premises?
We're already out.
Your stuff
You're
is
already
still
out.
Right.
And they have surrendered the keys?
Yes, and it's in the process of being removed as we speak. So we are out. It'll be another hour or two, I think, before it's all of our stuff is gone.
So then the only issue is what's owed.
Right. I also want to bring up, if I may, Your Honor, we were subjected to a wrongful lockout, so we are due 3 times damages of the $150 for a locksmith as outlined in Michigan's anti-lockout statute, totaling $450, which I also have evidence of.
Okay. All right,
Your
look,
Honor.
folks.
Your Honor, I'm
Yes.
in my house because they failed to pay rent. I have 6 children. These people make $350,000 a year is what they claimed on the rental application. I'm going to lose health insurance tomorrow, and my house is going into a foreclosure period as of tomorrow is 90 days late. They have money. They had subletters or whoever living with them, and I don't know if they were running a homeless shelter, if they were pocketing the rent that their roommates paid. They've
No.
just been sitting in my house, sir.
This is incorrect.
Okay. All right. So
I just want to, like, moving the tears aside, we're just going to look at what she said because who knows who to believe in this situation. I'm leaning more towards the landlord. But my thing is, like, if you rent your house out, you know, and I don't understand why people can't use, like, force to get people out. I mean, I know there's laws and all that for it, but it's like, if you don't pay that, if you're late 30 days, you should have to leave immediately on day 1. Like, it should be no questions asked, you're gone. So the amounts can't continue to mount up. And what a lot of people don't realize is that these people that are renting these houses most of the time are just renting them out at what their mortgage rate is, maybe a little bit over, sometimes a little bit under. So they're dependent on their renters to pay that money, and it goes straight to the mortgage company. Like, they're not making a lot of money in this situation. They might make $100, $200 over, but after they got to pay costs and fees and handymans and all that type of stuff, they're making no money. They are winning from a standpoint of they're able to keep building equity into their home, which a lot of that is interest early on. But if you don't pay your rent as a renter and you're renting from somebody that's renting out a home that they own, you could absolutely cripple their entire lives by doing that. And I don't think a lot of people realize or care about the ramifications that they have when they don't pay their rent on time. Because when somebody attaches a late fee, it's usually because when they don't pay their bills on time, then they get hit with a late fee. These people are not probably making any money on this as far as money that they can pocket and go on a trip to, you know, Aruba or something.
So here's the thing. Possession has been granted. There are 2 parts to the case. Possession's been granted or surrendered to the plaintiff. So possession is not.
Sorry.
Pardon?
There are still people at the house. One of them had a residence established there, apparently. They're still at the house, and unfortunately, our property manager expired at noon today, as it is the last day of the month. So any clean out of anything left behind, I'm going to have to go assess for any damages left on my own next week.
Exactly. They got to pay for a property manager. That's cutting into the money. Like, there's a lot of expenses as a landlord. And honestly, like, it's not really, I know a lot of people want to own property and land and all that. You have to be very, very good and precise to do that, because if you don't, one bad tenant can destroy your entire life.
All right.
And I got a video on this coming out a little bit later where we talk about a Hawaiian man that went through the same thing.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. They've surrendered possession of the unit. Ma'am, to your knowledge, are there people in the premises?
Yes, there
Ms.
is.
Burrell, are there people still in the premises?
I don't know. I would have to text them. I don't know if they're on the premises presently, but we were told that we could get the remainder of the items out. So they would be doing that if they are not presently at the U-Haul Center where I am now.
If you're not, you'd rather do Sunday.
I'm just
so
using
here's
my
what I'm
phone
gonna
to
do.
do this.
Possession to the premises has been surrendered. Ma'am, as of, given everything that I'm hearing, your management contract expires, what, at midnight tonight? Is that the deal, or?
Yeah, yes. And we can't afford to pay
All
a
right.
property manager anymore.
Hang on, I hear you. I'm just trying to, because you're in North Carolina, right?
Yes, sir. But I will have to make
Okay.
a trip up to North Carolina to assess anything.
I know. I guess you're out of state. You've got a property manager here that won't be the property manager tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
So what? I should let you guys talk and then I'll just go back and then come back out. Because either you're going to listen to me or not.
Yeah, y'all got to stop talking when people are talking.
Possession's been surrendered. I'm going to give the authority, I'm going to grant to the plaintiff the authority to prevent waste under 4.201I, that you may lock and secure the premises effective 3:00 today. The reason I'm doing that is
What? What kind of note is that? On their TikTok, Taversia states that they, are we talking about two people, have done sex work. I don't know if this is related to this property. So she was using her house as a brothel as well. I mean, can I, look, if you're going to use my property as a brothel and you're going to be running escorts in and out the property and you making money in there, the least you could do is like cut me in on some of the percentage of the money you're making. Like at least throw me like 15-20% for you using the property. Like that's the least you could do. This is starting to seem quite cold-hearted by this TikToker because she's using her property as a commercial property to make money from. She also streams TikTok and all that from the property. And she won't even cut the property manager in or the owner in on some of the proceeds. You don't even have to pay her out of like the money that you don't have, but just give her a percentage of the money that you do have. I mean, it's kind of insane.
that is so that you can get your property manager, go over there. You can order a locksmith. You can change the locks at 3 p.m. today. Whatever
she gotta
else
pay
needs
for
to
it.
get out, if you don't get it out by that time, you said you surrendered, you're giving them the keys, they giving you grace to get some of the stuff out. If it's not out, not out.
That's
But the
perfectly fine,
premises
Your Honor.
will be locked.
Thank you.
Then the issue regarding the money is going to have to be done. Now,
Yeah.
I might as well, because the parties don't seem to agree, set this matter for trial. You have to come up next week. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so trying to time this, if you come up, how long are you going to be up here?
Very short amount of time, sir, as I have children in North Carolina in school. So a day. Enough.
So if I I was just gonna set this for.
I can't, bro. Family, I can't, man. I'm so disappointed in the judicial system at this point. And here's the reason why. And I'm disappointed in Honorable Cedric Simpson. I'm not going to disrespect the judge. I know he has red tape that he has to get through, so this might not necessarily be his fault, but I think at some point he can probably just override and say this is enough. And I don't think that judges do that enough. But bruh, she already said that she didn't pay at least 2 months of rent. That's $10,000. This woman just told you how crucial it is that she gets her money back because of the situation that she's in, which I believe her, because she's about to lose her health insurance. I'm pretty sure she can prove that she has 6 kids. But regardless of that, regardless of the situation she put herself into in life, it doesn't even matter. I don't care if she was flush with money and she had $1 million in liquid right now and she doesn't need the money. The problem is that we already know for a fact at this point that she's 2 months over rent, admitted by the defendant. And the judge is saying, look, you're gonna have to pay that $10,000 immediately, or we're gonna start incurring fees, and we're gonna start going for bank accounts, and we're gonna start taking property. Like, he doesn't even do that. He puts no pressure on her. I don't know if he can threaten her with jail, but he puts no pressure on her to pay. He says we're gonna set this for next week for a trial. As far as the money goes, like at minimum, she owes her $10,000. That's undisputed. She should get her $10,000 today. I mean, this is crazy, man. The plaintiff is getting railroaded. Not to mention, it probably took a hell of a long time just to get to this point. And now you got him here, and he won't even help you in real time. What are we doing? Nah.
For a trial.
Not cool.
So I can set a trial date, but I'm going to need the parties in person because apparently there's going to be a lot of documentation. So I'm trying to set it. So here's what I'll do. Because we're really talking about the money, but we got to get the premises secured first.
That's all that matters is the money.
What's my date? March. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set a non-jury trial as to the money issues.
I think you need a jury.
March 11th, 2025 at 9 a.m. That's in person. So I've tried to set that, ma'am, I tried to set it out far enough so that you could make arrangements or do what needs to be done to come up. We'll hear it that day. So if it has to be a one-day trip, it's a one-day trip. But I've just tried to put it out to, well, I think you get what I'm saying.
Who is he trying to accommodate?
Really? But I'm allowing you to secure the premises. You're going to come up here, check on it. That way you can assess what damages or other things there may be there. Bring ledgers, all other documentation you want the court to look at on March 11th, and then we'll hear your case. Okay?
Your Honor, might I ask one question?
Sure.
Rather than pushing it out, I can make arrangements. I will make it work. Like I said, we're actually going into a 90-day foreclosure period tomorrow. And so time is kind of of essence.
Got it. Then the best I could do is the 18th. What day? Yeah. But the best I could then do is February 18th. I could push it up to that day. Will that be better for you?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much.
So non-jury trial in this matter then will be set for
How many days? The
February
18th from this day.
18th,
We don't got that.
2025, 9 a.m. Okay.
And one more question. Will Mr. Lepek have to appear as well, or will he be appearing sufficient just because he can't afford time off of work right now?
Look at the judge when she one more question.
One more question. Will Mr. Lepek...
Bro, the judge is irritated that she's trying to put an expedited process on this because of her situation that y'all... This
have
makes you
to
frustrated.
appear as well, or will he be appearing sufficient just because he can't afford time off of work right now?
Well, he might want to have himself, if you're here, he may want to have himself, I will allow understanding childcare, work, those things. I would allow him to appear via Zoom.
Thank you. And as far as Mr.
So that he's present, but you will have to be here in person.
Understood. And Mr. Elliott?
He needs to appear. If he doesn't appear, then I do what I got to do.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor,
Thank you.
may I ask a question?
Sure.
My partner might not be able to get off work either, but I can show up. Is that a problem?
I will give you the same, I will give you the same opportunity that I give the other side in fairness. So you may appear, but he would have to be available via Zoom.
Okay, thank you so much.
Wow. I don't even. And why doesn't she just say, like, you know what? I'm not even gonna make you wait a week. She's totally like, she doesn't even care at all about her landlord, a person that gave her a place to stay when she was in need. This person right here, where's she at? Got her right here. This person right here, you could tell she doesn't care. Look at her video. She don't care. She used this as content too. She used this whole thing as content right here, where she got the whole "watch me being sued" video. So she made money off this and couldn't even like use this money that she made to pay her immediately. She should have been like, you know what? Don't even worry about it. We'll talk about the money that I should be owed and late fees and all that, but there's one thing that is for sure. I definitely didn't pay you 2 months of rent. So let me do this real quick. Go ahead and put your phone up to the screen with your Zelle, your Cash App, or your Venmo QR code. All right, I'm gonna put my phone up to the screen and I'm gonna send you that 10 G's right now. I'm gonna make sure that you're taken care of as far as the things that you need to pay. And then I will fight it out with you for the rest because I feel like the late fees were egregious. Like, where's this common decency in any of this? And people choose to support people like this. And this is insane to me, bro. Like, this person assuming, well, we don't got to assume. We heard it right here. She admitted it. She admitted what she owed. And, you know, so, you know, for the judge not to have extreme, it was prejudice the word, towards this person. Maybe not prejudice. I mean prejudice in the standpoint of like, you know, I'm not allowing you to even fight or contest again the money that you owe as far as the 2 months rent, which is $10,000. You know, when you dismiss with prejudice, it means you can't come back and redo it. So completely insane story. And I think there's even more of a follow-up to it, but I can't do any more of this. I actually want to get into our warm-hearted closer because at this point, we gotta get to some positivity. You know, there's people out here that are just going through hell in all different types of situations. I feel like that landlord is going through hell at this point, and it's completely crazy because that landlord can't even get the help of the government when she's probably about 90% in the right, if not 100% in the right. And we see it far too often, and it's disgusting behavior. So what we're going to do now is we're going to end on a positive note like always, because we never want to end on a bad note. We want to end on something positive. So we're going to look at two stories. One is the highlight, but one's leading up to it. And this tenant actually wins an eviction from a landlord that is a terrible landlord and is a slumlord. And I don't even know if slumlord does it justice. What's below a slumlord? I know that's like the worst type of landlord that can be. If there's a level below that, then that's what this landlord is to these tenants. Let's get into our warm-hearted closer and understand that she won her case. And then we are going to get into Alfredo's landscaping, and he did something incredible that I just think is glorious, and I definitely want to give him a highlight. So that's why I have his information posted here. But the first story leading up to it is this.
This is WBRZ News 2 at 6.
Two on Your Side often gets calls from renters having a tough time in their living situation with no help from their landlord.
Lately, several of those calls have been from people renting from the same owner. Brittany Weiss shares what one person is going through.
The last few weeks, I have received a handful of calls from tenants living in 100-fold LLC properties. The one you're about to hear from was taken to eviction court and won. She's now trying to find a new home, but before she does, took us on a tour of her current living arrangement.
This has been stressful ever since we've been here.
Bridget Richardson and her fiance moved into this blue house in the spring. They have 2 young girls. Everly is 8 months old.
Bathroom was covered in mold. The mold literally.
Richardson spent several weeks cleaning and making repairs.
She moved into that?
We couldn't use the toilet. We couldn't run the bath water. The kitchen floor was starting to fall through.
They installed this linoleum in the kitchen.
Hold on real quick. Hold on 1 second. I just want to run it back. Y'all see what I'm seeing? Is there a cat in a baby crib? What animal is that I don't even think that's a
use
cat.
The toilet. We couldn't run the bath water. The kitchen floor was starting to fall through.
Bruh. What is that in the baby crib? I think it was a cat. I thought I heard a meow.
They installed this linoleum in the kitchen.
We have roaches come from the attic on a regular basis.
Mold killer and roach spray on standby.
And they don't take it seriously. They said that they're not responsible for bug control.
This hot plate resting on a stool is where they cook.
I thought that it had proper safe connections for a stove. It has no safe connections for a stove.
The rent is $800 a month. The house is owned by 100 Fold LLC, which tried to evict Richardson for withholding rent. Money she used to clean and make repairs. A judge sided with Richardson.
They've been avoiding
As
us the
she
entire
should've.
time. You can't get in contact with them.
The mailbox belonging to
Mrs. Joe with 100 Fold
is full and cannot accept new messages at this time.
100 Fold LLC owns several properties in Baton Rouge. Richardson first moved into this one on North 47th Street.
It smelled like death.
They were offered the Blue House instead. 100 Fold LLC posts renovation projects on Instagram. This one doesn't look like it's been renovated and was rented out as is.
I don't understand why they're getting away with doing this to people, because they're not.
Richardson is looking for a new home for her family, one that's safe and not.
What is that? What animal is that?
Because they're not.
Richardson is looking for a new home for her family, one.
Is that a cat? And what's wrong? Why the baby? Why the baby living there, man? And where'd the baby come from?
Tested with bugs.
I'm actually a little more like undecided on this story now. I don't have a lot of time to research every single story, and this was one where now I will say this. She absolutely should be given 100%. This should be the opposite of what happened with the other case. This tenant should be compensated and get back all the rent that she's paid plus damage deposit, and compensated for her work and her labor and her costs to maintain the property while she's been there. And then she should get another lump sum on top of that. Because like these conditions to move into a house, I mean, this isn't worth anything. This shouldn't even be available to be rented out at all. But
Richardson and her fiance moved into this blue house.
yeah, Richardson and her fiance moved into the house. So I don't know if they got like, cause also another part of this is like, and I have to speak about it, right? Like, cause I'm just looking at it from the baby side of it is the baby shouldn't be subject to live in those conditions, because it's like that is not livable. I mean, really, you could probably survive much better in a tent than living in that house. And I mean that seriously. You could be outdoors living better than that in many cases. And it's completely crazy that the baby is involved in any of this. So I actually have more questions than anything. But the main thing about this is that she did win a lawsuit against 100 Fold LLC, and the judge sided with her. More than likely, they didn't even attend court because they can't defend themselves in this situation. And I don't know what's going on in Baton Rouge. I haven't heard great things about Baton Rouge from an overall standpoint. So, I mean, this just kind of accentuates it. But I want to move on from this story immediately and get on to this one because this is going to be a lot more lighthearted than the other story. And we're going to end off on this one. I appreciate y'all, family. Let's get to it.
5 exclusive. A neighbor in West Harrison jumped into action to lend a helpful hand to an elderly couple in need.
That's right. After learning a husband and wife were struggling to maintain their property, a landscaper took it upon himself to get the job done.
All right, Fox 5's Richard G. Kovis has the story you won't see anywhere else.
He's not your average Joe. Far from it, in fact.
It's just something I was always taught and something I always did.
Meet Joe Alfredo, a third-generation landscaper who lives in this small town of West Harrison. Last week, Joe saw a post on his local Facebook group about this neglected home, overgrown grass, wild shrubbery, and even a tree leaning on the roof. Diana Izuriata lives next door.
I was kind of concerned because since we've been having a lot of bad storms lately, I was scared that, a lot of kids also play a lot here, because of dead-end street. Right. I was scared maybe a tree will fall on them, God forbid. Yeah. I was like, what to do? So that's when I know that Harrison group is very responsive, on Facebook, so I posted it there.
After seeing the post, Joe saw that some neighbors wanted to tell the town to slap the homeowners with violations. But Joe decided to go a different route.
So I found out who the owner was. Turned out they were an elderly couple, and they were both not physically fit to maintain the property anymore.
Well, that's all Joe had to hear. You see, this gem of a guy comes from the age of always help thy neighbor, not just figuratively. See, Joe's dad used to tell him to go cut the neighbor's grass when he was little. So now with his own son, he went to go help this husband and wife who couldn't do it themselves anymore.
The last time he was here, he was just barely able to cut the front, and then he had to leave. So when I heard that made it even sadder.
Joe and his son, along with 2 of his workers, spent hours mowing the lawn, picking up trash from around the property, pruning the shrubs, pulling the weeds. The list goes on. And finally, he gave 40 Underhill Place some dignity.
There was a broken tree on the house on this side. On the other side, there were branches growing over the house. The whole backyard was filled with garbage. You couldn't see the driveway. It was completely covered in leaves. The grass was probably about 2 feet high, so we had to cut the grass 3 times.
Yeah, this Joe is far from average. He's a cut above the rest. In fact, he even started a chain reaction of doing good. A contractor just offered to put a fresh coat of paint on this house at no charge, leading by example for the next generation.
Always help thy neighbor.
Like a good neighbor, Joe Alfredo is there.
Y'all really gonna take State Farm jingle and not give no credit to State Farm? They ain't give no credit to State, and they took the jingle.
Well, now this Fox.
I just want to say shout out to Joe. I gotta highlight one point though, because us family, we see things that most other people don't really notice at first, and I want to talk about something that we shouldn't have to talk about in such a great story, but for some reason the news wanted to include it, and we're not going to act like it never happened. This person right here, you
can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up.
Why? Facebook is one of the most disturbing congregations that can be established online in many ways, in certain circumstances, but many circumstances. And there are a lot of people that have less to do with trying to help people and more to do with trying to tear people down and be I told you so people and try to rally and complain and whine and act like they're better than everybody else for no reason whatsoever. And this woman right here, although portrays an innocence that most people wouldn't be able to see behind her veil, is absolutely toxic. She posted this woman's house on Facebook knowing that there's going to be a whole bunch of people that come from behind the woodwork like termites to try to tear this old couple's family home down and get them all kind of sanctions and different types of violations and fines associated with what was going on with their house, already understanding the predicament that they're in. And instead of her trying to do something to help them, she actually just posts their house without even going over and having a conversation with them first to see what's going on and actually possibly including them in the post, she takes it upon herself, and then they start to tear into the family to the point where if it wasn't for Alfredo to come and step up, this saintly human being right here, Alfredo, these people would have been attacked by the mob that is always accumulating on Facebook. Now, me personally, I've quit Facebook long ago. I have no profile on Facebook as far as using it for anything that is personal or anything like that, because I think it is absolutely an echo chamber of people that have, you know, oftentimes a mob mentality when they start to congregate. But regardless of that, the news actually didn't press her on what was going on. But I just want y'all to catch this one part before we move on to Alfredo and we look at the way that we can support him. Watch this.
Yata lives next door.
I was kind of concerned because since we've been having a lot of bad storms lately, I was scared that, you know, a lot of kids also play a lot here, you know, because of dead end street. Right. I was scared maybe a tree will fall on them, God forbid. Yeah, I was like, what to do?
The tree was never in a place. The tree is on their property, in their yard. If the tree is going to hurt anything, it's going to be their actual house. She said she's worried about a tree falling on the kids, but the kids aren't going to be effective unless they're literally on their yard under the tree on their property, which they shouldn't be. So what does the tree have to do with anything as far as it hurting a kid? So first off, your whole argument is blown. Like, you didn't do that. You just want to be hey, you know, I don't like the way that you're doing things on the property you own, and I want to go ahead and put it on Facebook and have a whole bunch of people start to attack you. And then what happens after that? Hear it.
So that's when I know that Harrison group is very responsive, like on Facebook. So I posted it there.
After seeing the post, Joe saw.
Okay, you said the Harrison group is responsible on Facebook. So why didn't you directly contact Alfredo or landscapers and see if you could figure out somebody that would help out this old couple that has probably been in the neighborhood for a very long time and probably taken care of a lot of people within the neighborhood when they were able to do so? You didn't do that. You blasted it to a whole bunch of people that don't care and want to be the I told you so guys, so they could continue to try to figure out what's going on and attack these people because they have nothing else to do in their lives and they're miserable. And then what happens? Watch this.
Saw that some neighbors wanted to tell the town to slap the homeowners with violations.
Wanted to slap the homeowners with violations. And tell what?
But Joe decided to go a different route.
So I found out who the owner was. Turned out they were an elderly couple, and they were both not physically fit to maintain the property anymore.
And he did what a good person would always do. He reached out directly to the people and seen if he could have a conversation with them. And when he seen what he's seen in that household, he said, there's no way I'm not going to step up and help out. Because he went there expecting maybe some irresponsible people, but he's seen some people that literally are trying to take care of themselves at old age and just can't cure the lawn anymore at this point. And they're doing their best to try to maintain their. So now he goes and he sees that and he says, you know, there's no way. Why would we slap fines on these people? We need to try to help them. And this guy is a saint right here. This guy, Alfredo, Joe Alfredo is an absolute saint. And I just want to give him a lot of credit for being the person that he is. And also, you know, teaching this to his son. And I'm pretty sure that, you know, he had workers. He said he had workers that he came to help. He probably paid them out of his pocket. Not only did he do the work for free, but he's also going to pay the people that are working for him. And more than likely, they're going to be people that are going to say, don't even pay us for this job. You take care of us well enough already. We just want to do it to help them. But these are a good community of people right here. And this right here is what you're going to see with the mob mentality, that instead of helping people when they can, they decide to do the opposite and try to tear them down and show no remorse whatsoever to people that probably, more than likely, would have helped you if they were given that opportunity. And it's completely insane. But let's go back to Joe and understand how great of a guy he is. And let's also, I wish I had the painters that are coming over. Did they say who the painters were?
House at no charge. Leading by example, a contractor just offered to put a fresh coat of paint on this house
They didn't give the painters, else I would have included them in this. But shout out to the painters as well. And so we got, actually, I'll just go here. We got Joe. This is Joe right here. So I want everybody to just go ahead and tell Joe thank you. And I think that's great what he's doing. I'm gonna reach out to him. I'm actually gonna text him. Matter of fact, I'm gonna do it right now. Cause this is just my account for Marketplace. It's just, I only use this just to buy and sell stuff, because Facebook Marketplace is great. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna text him right now, and I'm gonna tell him thank you right here live on stream before we get out of here. Cause I got time. I got time for good people, always. So right now, I'm about to text Joe, and I'm gonna tell him, I'm gonna use talk to text actually. Hi, Joe. I'm doing a live stream right now, and I seen your story, and I wanted to highlight how incredible of a person that you are for not choosing to try to slap fines on the homeowners that couldn't keep their home together, and taking time to go over there and cure their lawn and help them out in so many ways with your company. So I just wanted you to know that there are more people that appreciate you than not. And I just wanted to say thank you and let you know that you're an amazing human being for what you did. And I will say thanks. DotSale. I'm gonna send that out right now. We got it right there. You can see Joe's number right here. It might not focus in, but that is Joe's number. That is the message that we sent. I probably should clean it up a little bit. Let me just look. Let me adjust like a period here. Make sure there ain't no obvious typos. I think he gets the point. Okay. Okay, we're gonna send this out. And we just sent this out to Joe directly to his number. Hopefully he can get text on his number. And so, yeah, we sent it out right there. We sent it out to Joe, and maybe we'll get a response before we end the stream. But right here is his Facebook. So if anybody knows anybody in the area that is Ausinine, New York. I'm bad with words that I've never even seen before or pronounced. So there's that. But you can see the text right there. That's his email, landscaping, and see if we can go to his website. The link to his website's broken. And a lot of times that makes sense because Facebook, you'll probably get just as many eyes as you will on your website, and like honestly. And so he's got a lot here. Looks like he's got people that are supporting him already. So hopefully that's great. But I definitely want to let him know that, you know, us family, we appreciate people like Joe, and we definitely want to let him know that. So we're going to end on this. It's incredible how you can have such a great story and then also put a wolf in sheep's clothing within the same story and try to disguise it as someone that wanted to help out those people. You never want to help them out. You want to see them get blasted on Facebook. And that's exactly what happened. We could just have a conversation with somebody and be genuine and not try to use it for clout when it comes down to a situation where it's dire and desperate. It's completely insane. And I hope if the city has done anything to these people as far as fines or anything like that, they take time to remove those fines and send somebody over to just have a welfare check and make sure that they're doing good. They might need some extra resources. If they're an old couple, then more than likely they paid a lot into the system, so they should be able to get some resources back out at this point in their life to help them get through their old age. Because the one thing that's for sure, unless you have a tragedy, you're going to get old. So never play ageism And always treat your elders with respect, assuming they deserve it. There are some creeps out there, but, you know, these people are not it, as far as we all know. So we're going to end it with that. I appreciate y'all. Y'all are family. If you made it this far, like, share, comment, subscribe. It's the big 4. I told you we're going to make up for yesterday. 2 hours and 20 minutes on the show. I got to get out of here. I got to go get my son. You know, we might go do something for the community ourselves. Joe has inspired me, and I've always done these type of things with my kid as well. So that's why I can really relate to a guy like Joe. You'll never see me on Facebook trying to bash people and create an echo chamber of hate. But more likely, I'll be trying to help. Y'all are incredible. Y'all are incredible. This is the best audience ever. Ever. It's not even close. I'm DotSale. I'll be having too much fun doing this. A lot of people would look at this like work. I don't look at it like work. I don't. But nothing I do, I look at it like work, because I only do things that I like, and if I don't like it, I make myself like it. I'm out of here, though. I gotta go. I appreciate y'all. Till next time.